first a bit intimidated by studying Shakespeare, but I hope to break down some of those worries and concerns and make it easier and more accessible to you. There are kind of four key changes that Shakespeare makes between early modern English and our contemporary modern English. One of those key changes is that Shakespeare puts the words in different order than we would now. The grammar is not as we would expect to find it. Often that's because Shakespeare wants to keep iambic pentameter, the rhythm that was established in Elizabethan drama. And Shakespeare's looking to create that rhythm, create maybe a character's personality through the language, and in addition wanting to create a rhyme. And so for that reason the words might be slightly out of order, and all you need to do is think about where the subject and verb are of those couple of lines and reorganize them to make sense of the line. Another way in which Shakespeare seems challenging is that there are somewhere around 3,000 new words that Shakespeare has either coined or used in a unique and new manner. And sometimes in addition there are words that we would use in a different way or that have completely fallen out of use in contemporary English. So once you use a glossary and you feel more accustomed to those particular words and their usage in Shakespeare, then again, it's just a quick translation and you become more familiar with the word and you can place it in the context of that line. One of the other areas of difficulty is when students encounter a omission, and Shakespeare does it in order to keep the rhythm of the iambic pentameter. It also tends to give a sense of urgency to the lines because everything becomes a little bit shorter when those words are present, and it gives quite a bit of energy and movement, forward movement to the line. So if you come across an elision, you merely look up what the word means, and then you'll probably see that repeated and you'll become familiar with those little changes. And another helpful hint about the reading is to think about where the meaning lies and not so much about the iambic pentameter. So some lines will have what we call enjambment, where the meaning of the line carries on beyond the end of that line and on into the next line. When you're reading Shakespeare, think of it more in that way, not line to line to line. But actually think where the meaning takes you, where it goes, and it may go across 2 lines, even 3. That will make it much more natural and make more sense across the speech or monologue or even the scene. Further, you want to kind of think about where are the verbs. Those verbs are going to give you kind of an anchor, as it were, for understanding the meaning of that phrase or that speech, and then see where little phrases are hanging from or moving around in relation to that verb, and that will give you the energy and the purpose and the idea behind that speech.
Finally, I just want to offer some assurances as you begin to practice speaking Shakespeare in our class. In fact, a wide range of accents is acceptable in the speaking of Shakespeare's verse. And lastly, one helpful hint is to breathe with the meaning of the lines rather than the structure of the lines themselves. So think exactly what you want to say, what the character wants to impart, and breathe in those gaps. In order to see how we may apply some of the techniques we have discussed here, I will read Shakespeare's Sonnet 116. As you can see from this photo of the first printing of this sonnet in 1609, spelling and punctuation were different and not yet standardized at this time. In this subject, we'll be working with more modern translations from the Folger Library and the Arden Shakespeare series. I look forward to exploring Shakespeare further with you.
Let me not to the marriage of true minds admit impediments.
Love is not love which alters when it alteration finds, or bends with the remover to remove. Oh no, it is an ever-fixed mark that looks on tempest and is ne'er shaken. It is the star to every wandering bark, whose worth unknown although his height be taken. Love's not time's fool, though rosy lips and cheeks within his bending sickle's compass come. Love alters not with his brief hours and weeks, but bears it out, even to the edge of doom. If this be error, and upon me proved, I never writ, nor no man ever loved.